Movie reviews. The Invisible Man, directed by Whannell. I think I'm saying that right. Lee Whannell, I think. It's the guy who did Upgrade. And let me tell you, back to back from Upgrade to The Invisible Man, this dude can direct movies. So The Invisible Man is a property that most people know. It was originally a novel by H.G. Wells. Then it was made into a lot of movies, mostly in the 30s, which I haven't actually seen, but most people at least know the iconic look of the traditional Invisible Man. This is a modern, redone version with its own take on this character. And let me say, this movie takes a lot of liberties and makes it very much a movie that is made in today's world with technology and everything, and it is fantastic. The plot on IMDb reads, when Cecilia's abusive ex takes his own life and leaves her his fortune, she suspects his death was a hoax. As a series of coincidences turn lethal, Cecilia works to prove that she is being hunted by someone nobody can see. So the main character, Cecilia, is played by Elizabeth Moss, and let's start there because her role in this movie is just incredible. She does such a good performance, and she's doing incredible work. She is just captivating to watch. Her emotions in this movie are just top notch, and the whole movie kind of follows her character. For I'm pretty sure like the whole movie we are only with her. We don't really see anyone else or anything else going on except maybe like every now and then a shot or two, but the whole movie is seen through her perspective. And the part where the Invisible Man comes in is it's her ex-boyfriend, who the movie starts off and we can automatically see this is an abusive relationship. It's just terrible. She needs to get out of it, so she runs from him, and then after he apparently commits suicide, which she doesn't believe, she starts to get haunted by him. And I think the reason that this movie works so well, other than just being a fantastic horror movie, but the script is actually really compelling. It's something that a lot of people can relate to. If they've been in a situation like this, they know someone who has been in an abusive relationship like this. And I can't imagine anything more terrifying than to have that person be invisible just stalking you. So this movie requires her to just play that role to the max, and she does an incredible job. You feel for her. You feel scared for her life. Before he even turns invisible, you feel scared for her life. The movie sets up like he is just this complete psychopath that just cannot leave her alone. He's one of the leaders in optics technology, so even like with security cameras and alarms, she can't even get out of his house without him knowing. And so once he turns invisible, you're like, oh my gosh, how is she gonna get away from him? And I think another cool part about this movie is that we know the premise of it. We know he's eventually gonna turn invisible, but the process that she goes through to start to realize this, it's a slow burn. It really is. It's probably like 45 minutes or so until she finally makes the connection, like, he's in this room with me. So we're watching all these things happen. We're seeing the camera kind of shift into the room, and we're like, wait, is it going to happen now? Is it going to happen now? And it doesn't happen yet. And then when she realizes it, she then has to tell people. And of course, they don't believe her. And that's what makes this movie even more powerful, is because I think there's this underlying message talking about victims who are in abusive relationships like this, and how people don't always believe them. In some ways, we relate to the other characters in this movie because they're like, yeah, if she came to us and telling us that her ex-boyfriend, who apparently committed suicide, is now haunting her and he's invisible, I don't know if I would believe her either. But yet, how difficult is it for her to be the victim in this situation and have nobody believe her? It's powerful, and I think it really speaks to a lot of issues that people are going through today. Now for the actual horror elements, which they are just, oh my gosh, some of the most terrifying scenes I've seen in recent years when it comes to horror movies. I will say I'm a little disappointed at some of the jump scares because there are quite a few, and I'm not usually a huge fan of jump scares, but I like when movies can scare you with other ways, not just making a loud noise or having something pop on the screen immediately and make you startle. And this movie does a good job of balancing the two. There's a lot of just suspense where you're looking at an empty room and you see something kind of float and you're like, oh no, he's right there. But there are a lot of jump scares, so I'm gonna have to knock it down a few points because of that. But the horror elements it does nail is just the suspense of just having someone when you don't know where they are. Are they in the room now? Are they not? I don't know. She doesn't know. It's terrifying. This movie also takes some interesting twists. Now, I haven't seen the original Invisible Man movies, and I haven't read the book, so I'm not exactly sure like how different it is. I did read a little bit about them, and it seems like this does take a lot of interesting twists, and it definitely is a 21st century movie where I think like I don't know how he turned invisible in the original book or movies, but in this one it's a lot of technology based and something like, wow, like I don't think this could happen like now, but it's definitely believable, I guess. I think the other part I wasn't a huge fan of was the third act. I think it makes some choices that aren't as believable, and you really have to make a lot of things work out perfectly for them to all make sense. And so the finale was fantastic, and everything leading up through the second act was great. I just think the third act, it was like, okay, that's that's a pretty convenient that it all worked out like. I haven't even mentioned Oliver Jackson Cohen is playing the Invisible Man, Adrian Griffin, and let me tell you, if you have not heard me recommend Haunting of Hill House, go watch that because he's incredible in this movie and he's also incredible in that show. So he's just fantastic all around when it comes to horror. I gotta say, for this being a beginning of the year movie, seeing how it came out like in February, I'm always worried about movies that come out this time of year, but this was amazing. Blumhouse has done another great job of making a low budget horror movie and making a profit off of it, and this is an instant classic. Highly recommend it. Score, I'm going to give it a 79 out of 100. If you follow me on Letterboxd, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Best movie I've seen of 2020. Which isn't a lot to say, but it's still the case. Still Invisible Man, have you seen it? What do you think? Comment below, let me know your thoughts, and I will see you next time.